That's some feel good music right there.
Hey,
Hey.
hey, 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 hey. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. We don't own the rights to this music, but we just need y'all to come on, share this broadcast. Looking forward to our time together tonight. I know it's late, but look, y'all ain't had nothing else to do. So you might as well come on and get your party, get your groove on with us this morning, this evening, this afternoon, whenever you're tuning in. We appreciate you being here. So share the broadcast to our peeps on Periscope. Hey, hey, hey. If you're on Facebook, hey, hey, hey. Come on, YouTube, say something. Let us know that you're there. Tell us where you're tuning in from. We're excited to be here with you this morning. Yeah, it took us a minute to get here, but that's all right. We're here now. And we're excited. It's going to be a good time as always. So I'm Tisha M. Johnson. Thank you so much for tuning in with us tonight, to
Good morning.
now.
Yes, good morning.
Right now. I am your relationship coach. I'm here to help you manifest true and lasting love that you can manifest the right man, the right love of your life. And so it's going to be a great conversation. So I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to share the broadcast with some of our other groups and get them involved. So why don't you do the same? I'm going to let my sisters introduce themselves.
If I can stop dancing, y'all. Ooh, y'all, this is it. All right. Hey, y'all. Hey, I'm Stephanie Lane with the Career Women Collaborative, and Career Women hired me to help them get the position that they earned, get all the money they deserve, as well as begin a new career if they so desire. So we do all things career women in my space. And again, thank you for coming out here. Now, it's more importantly than just sharing the broadcast. Make sure you follow us on all the platforms that we're on there, YouTubers, Facebookers, Periscope folk. Y'all follow us. And then more importantly than that, hit the notification bell so that you know are notified when we come on. Again, thank you for coming. I see y'all on here strong. Periscope, y'all always show up and show out. Good to see you guys. I can't wait to talk about, today or actually yesterday, but we're still in the celebration mode. We're going to talk about celebration and what that means. So I can't wait. I'm super excited.
Sorry, I have to pay homage. Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? My name is Shaquanda C.J. Alston. I'm an accountant and owner of Johnson's Bookkeeping and Tech. With business owners such as yourselves, you guys hired me to take care of your financial planning. You guys hired me to keep your money. You guys hired me to help you find money. You guys hired me to take care of your PPP and CARES Act needs. I am super excited to be here with my sisters tonight. We are celebrating Juneteenth. It is a great day, a great holiday. So we have some very good information that we are going to share with you. So make sure you share out the broadcast. Make sure you go to bit.ly/free women 2020. And we're ready to get started.
Yay. So yesterday and moving into today was Juneteenth Day. And there's so many people out there that still don't know what Juneteenth is all about or how it began or what happened. Why do we celebrate it? What's the hubbub about it? So I'm going to give you some little facts that I think you should know. It did begin out of Galveston, Texas, and why Texas in general, right? Well, in 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, which did free the slaves. However, in the state of Texas, someone didn't tell them. There is a theory out there that the person that was put on the horse to go tell, the town crier, was probably killed on his way into town to tell the folk that they had been freed. So for 2 years, after the Emancipation Proclamation, we had folks still in Texas, still enslaved. And so there was a general named General Gordon Granger with his Union soldiers marched into Texas, Galveston to be exact, on June 19th, 1865, and proclaimed that all slaves were free. Now, as you know, what does freedom look like, and were they really, really free? Because even outside of Texas, all of the other states that were freed, you still had people still, or the enslaved people still in some form of bondage. They just changed the name. Black folk didn't really have anywhere to go. Where were they going to go? They didn't own anything. They didn't have anything but what was on their backs. So many of them chose to stay and do what they called sharecropping. But you and I know sharecropping, they tilled the land, took care of the land, but that was just only to survive, right? And so that ensued, and thus a lot of people still stayed in the areas in which they had been truly enslaved to only go through a different kind of form of slavery. But we celebrated, and again, it was June 19th, and it was always the celebration of June 19th. And as the years passed down, they've jammed it together as Juneteenth. And I just learned, this is a little fact, I just learned that they're really trying to pass it as a federal recognized holiday. So they're working on that. It's been proposed, and we'll see what happens. But there were so many celebrations, which was great to see today. I know back home where I'm from, there's always tons of celebrations that take place, whether it be at the Children's Museum, the Idle George Museum, at the Holiday Mall, um, as well as at the Art Museum. There's always something go parades out the wazoo. It's fantastic to see that we are celebrating our history and our culture. So those are some fun facts, some information, some tidbits that if you did not know what Juneteenth is about, that's the gist of it.
Ooh, awesome. So we're talking about 5 ways to celebrate Juneteenth. And of course, Stephanie just gave you the brief history about Juneteenth. I'm born and raised in Michigan, currently residing in Michigan now. But I didn't know about Juneteenth until I lived in Dallas. So that we're talking like 1991 was the first time I had ever heard of Juneteenth. And so, eventually once I came back north, you ask, you know anything about this Juneteenth? And of course we didn't. So, you kind of, and really the same thing with Cinco de Mayo. I didn't know about that till I lived in Texas, really. But now it's more widely celebrated. And so we'll see that with Juneteenth, it'll be more widely celebrated now. And we could go so many ways with this discussion, but this is what I'll say because I can only speak about certain things in a limited capacity, for whatever reason.
I'll
but
say it. I'll say it.
but it's nothing wrong with embracing something new. You don't have to celebrate it. In the Midwest, we celebrate the third Saturday in October, a holiday called Sweetest Day. Now,
Mhm.
there are many different definitions of Sweetest Day. The men say, "Well, y'all got Valentine's Day. Sweetest Day is for us." That isn't even the original origin for Sweetest Day. My point is, celebrate it if you want to celebrate it. So I know there's this whole big thing about holidays and where it derived from and all of that. Do what works best for you. And here's my advice. If it doesn't work for you and it works for somebody else, let that be their business.
Mhm.
You be okay with what happens in your household and let them be okay with what happens in theirs. Now, that might be a blanket statement, but what I can only control what I do. I can only control what happens in my household. If it doesn't affect me directly, then why would I waste energy? What do I look like wasting energy trying to prevent somebody from celebrating something they believe in? That's nonsensical. Let
Mm-hmm.
let's embrace, and we're going to go further into this conversation into how you can celebrate. But come on, I'm not having I have Indian in my family. But if I didn't, why would I try to have this whole big to do about Native Americans or Indian people of Indian descent? Why would I get all up in an uproar, outrage about what they feel important for them to celebrate? It doesn't make sense. We spend so much energy on the wrong stuff. If we could really focus on, concentrate on, put our energy toward that which really matters for lives.
Mm-hmm.
We got kids that are still separated from their parents because of some laws that were passed in horrible, deplorable conditions. Can we deal with that, or are we gonna fight
Mm-hmm.
about somebody feeling strongly about Black Lives Matter? What really matters? We've lost the concept of basic human rights. And I know some people don't believe that everybody is human, but listen, last I checked, I don't have alien blood. I had no control over what color my skin is. So I bleed like you bleed. I breathe like you breathe. I'm not flying to Mars or, teleporting myself somewhere else. So let's drop all the shenanigans. And the bottom line is humanity.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. So let's educate ourselves. Let's not talk about stuff we don't have information about. That you're ignorant to the issue. If you're ignorant to the issue, don't take the issue up until you educate yourself. So with the celebration of Juneteenth, let's make ourselves aware. And again, if that's what you want to celebrate, is nothing wrong. It's not I see nothing wrong with coming together, fellowshipping, laughing, enjoying one another, having, food that is related to that particular event. I shared with the ladies there was an article about some employees in Chicago that were upset because of what the employer offered. Okay, I get it. Let's say they brought the wrong thing to the table. Let's be gracious about it and work on them bringing something to the table next time that's more appropriate.
Should have been collard greens and neck bones. But I'm just saying. I'm
I mean,
just
chicken and
saying.
waffles is kind of across the board. I know people that like waffles, and I know, like in Michigan, we don't know a whole lot about chicken and waffles together, but we do have couple restaurants that specialize in it. Brought it to the area, and now it's a hit. So again, don't knock something you ain't never tried.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Right. So, like T. Marie said, one of the ways you celebrate or recognize Juneteenth is to educate yourself and your family. So, right now, you have an opportunity to begin that journey of educating yourself. And in what way am I talking about? You go to bit.ly/free women 2020. Go find out what it's all about. Don't be ignorant to the fact of a way to your freedom. You could sit in the dark all you want and complain all you want, but the only person you have to blame for all of that is yourself. Because when you look up, you are in that room by yourself, all to yourself. And you have to answer to yourself. Why are you not doing the things that your heart desires to do? How come you haven't leveled up? We talked about that, and I call it like I see it. You're just not ready, and then that's might be the conversation you need to have. I'm not ready, but why am I not ready? What is holding me back? What are the issues? So you can't free yourself. We're giving you an out. Remember, we're giving our coach is giving away $1 million for you, $1 million in grant funding for you to buy your freedom. And it could be your freedom from your job. It could be your freedom from that man. It could be that freedom from that family. It could be that freedom from you. but it's for you to figure out what you want to do, who you want to be when you grow up, and do that thing. But you got to go to bit.ly/free women 2020 to get started. You got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. And I always, guys, I come out of education background, and I would always tell young people, let's think about this. People who don't complete school sometimes, think about it like this. At the age of 14, 15, or 16, you've maxed out on your knowledge base if you drop out of school. So that means when you're 60 or 70 years old, your knowledge base goes all the way back to 14, 15, and 16. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to have experiences that's going to educate you, that's going to allow you to grow, but your base, your foundation of knowledge, your whole, major chunk of knowledge is all the way back then. Guys, I'm an avid learner. I really, truly, firmly believe in educating. I believe in knowing and learning. Y'all, I read so much it makes me sick sometimes. My baby girl, she looks at me because she's 25 minutes of reading every day. She's like, oh, and I'm trying not to make it so bad for her that she's going to hate reading. But it's like she's over it. And I'm like, read, it's exciting. You get to learn about the world. You get to know about things. You get to tell folk you know stuff because that's exciting to me. So, and it's a way for me to be free. Even in my bondage in my house, y'all, and I got 4 kids and they running around driving me cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, I go dig in a book. I lose myself in a book. So it's a way for you to free yourself. Get free. No need of staying in bondage. No need of yourself holding yourself back in bondage. You don't need to. Today you're free. Today you are free. CJ?
I think that's awesome. Pete, which was the freedom. Uh, that's the segue to number 2. Did you want me to do number 2,
Mm-hmm.
T, or you got it? Okay. So, Rocky, thank you all for joining and rocking with us. Rocky said, "Why was this holiday never talked about?" They say it's over 200 years old. God bless it.
Well, it was because it started in Texas, and you got to think sometimes things don't spread. I mean, if everybody else was free and the folk in Texas weren't, that meant news didn't spread. So it's the same thing. So they started celebrating it in Texas, and it's just taken a while. And it's because it's never been mandated as a holiday like like other holidays that we have. And so a lot of people don't know about it. But it's like we're talking about it now, it's slowly being recognized in other states. And a lot of people who lived in Texas, people who had family in Texas, and so it's become a thing. But there's another thing. What I didn't share with you guys, another fun fact is when the enslaved people started celebrating that annually, they didn't have any place to go. The white people, I mean, where were they going to go? They couldn't go to the white people's park to celebrate. So they started going down. They really did. They started going, and you guys know, I mean, those of us who study, I love history, guys. So those of us who study history, you know that a lot of things that took place down by the river. So they would go get dressed up. I mean, highfalutin, the best of the best. If their Sunday best wasn't best, they would go better than that sometimes. And they would get all dressed up and go down by the river and celebrate. Yes, they would have cookouts, and enjoy each other and celebrate and dance. They would even have sermons and sermonettes that would take place down by the river because they had no place to go. And so, in certain areas are commemorative. They have like stones and statues and so forth that commemorate. These are the areas or the places that people would go and celebrate. And parks have been named in honor. So go ahead. I'm sorry, CJ.
Oh no, you're fine. That's great, great information. So the second way that you can celebrate Juneteenth is you can start a business. You can start a business. You can do something that you may have never done before. While we are in this lens of being in uncharted waters, why not start a business? And so that is what we are helping those with Coach Danielle, helping those to start a business with getting your certification. That's why this certification, getting this grant for your new business is super duper amazing. That's why you want to go to bit.ly/free women 2020, because in order for you to be free, you have to own a business. You don't hear people gaining financial freedom or freedom of, for example, especially from a job. You just don't. It just does not happen. You can be on that job for 50 years, and Tisha always alludes to the fact that she's still waiting on her little gift that she's never gonna get. She might as well
Poor
chuck that
child.
up. And so, yeah, you want to start a business. So back when those the free, they were slaves, but they were free. And so, could you imagine because it took 2 to 3 years for them to get the announcement that the 13th Amendment had passed? I bet you somebody had heard something in the wind and said, "Y'all, I think we're free." And because the masses, right, have just said, "Man, I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? That day will never come in our lifetime. We're not free. How do you know that? We're still doing things the same way." And so then that person would turn around and say, "Well, I guess we're not free." And then they'll go back and just be enslaved. So I'm saying all that to say a lot of us just feel like do the same thing. Go to work, get a job, don't be free. Don't even attempt to gain freedom. When you make the announcement and say, "You know what, I think I want to start a business." Girl, what are you talking about? You're making six figures at that job already. You're already successful. Why would you jump out there and do something like that? And then a lot of us say, "Well, you know what? You're right. I guess I'll just go ahead and continue on this path." But no, you want to be able to go against the grain, go against the normal. I'm sure somebody, because when the general came, I mean, who was there to validate what this general said? There was nobody there to validate. I mean, it was at some point. Now, yes, it was 2 or 3 years later, but at the same time, I believe something just started awakening, and people were like, "You know what? I think we are free." And so we live, and we start living like that. So I think this time while we are quarantined, this time while we are in uncharted waters, that I believe that something inside of you is saying, it's something I need to do differently. It's something inside of you. You see us live, you see us go live every single night. You see us giving you guys $1 million information, mastermind. You see the opportunities come in front of your dwelling all the time. And I believe that that is more than enough sign for you to say, "I need to do something different." And why not start a business? Starting a business is it's just gratifying feeling for you to start. Even every person who has a job, their employer, their CEO, or their founder had to start by starting a business. They all
Mhm.
started the same place that you started. You think about that. You think about that. You too can be your CEO, your founder of this major corporation. What you have to say about that, Stephanie T? You want to weigh in on starting a business?
Oh,
Freedom.
um, well, entrepreneurship right now, there's so many resources, so many supports in place for people to begin businesses. You go to SBA website, there's a plethora of information. That's just information, resources, people to help, mentorship. That's just a start. And that's like the basics. That's a very basic level to start. But there it is. Now's the time to do it if you really wanted to do it. Back then they didn't have things like that. They didn't even have like, okay, step one, this is what you do. Step two, this is what you do. It just either you went for what you know and either you made it or you tanked, right? But there's so much that you can do and be in the right company of folk, okay? And we talked about point one as far as educating yourself and knowing how to move strategically in your business, right? And so with the supports coming in place, you got to go to bit.ly/free women 2020 because we do have those supports in place. We do have the resources in place. We have the education. We're offering you education. We're offering you education, guys. Remember, I always laugh because I never get this right. And they always do the advertisement, a mind's a terrible thing. Really, it's a mind's a terrible thing to waste. And then they came up with a before the word meme came out. Mind's a terrible thing. Who did the first one? I want to think it's on Saturday Night Live or something. It was the first commercial of that, and it had 2 eggs frying in a pan. Do y'all remember that? Uh, so yeah, no one can take your knowledge from you. And that was one of the things. That's why enslaved folk, they were willing to lose a limb, willing to even die to learn how to read. Because they knew once they had it, it was going to unlock some things for them. They knew that no longer at sermon time, because that was one of the indoctrinations back in the day, y'all. At sermon time, the slave master can't just sit up in front of them and just say whatever about the scripture and try to interpret the scripture for them and make them think this is how they were supposed to live and be. Well, they knew if they knew how to read, that yeah, they would have to go run and hide after Sir gave his sermon and go read the scripture for themselves and really truly understand what it was being said to them so that they could educate their own. They knew there was a level of freedom that came with reading. That was their form of education at the time, y'all. So that's why it's so important. Yes, it is a celebration. Yes, we should recognize what happened historically, but then we got to do something with it. You can't just let it sit there and be like, oh, that was nice. Oh, we had so much fun at the celebration. Oh, wasn't that a lovely parade? Oh, did you see the art? Oh, girl, did you see them chicken on the sticks or them fried Oreo cookies? Oh, my God, girl, that was so good. Oh, that fried corn. Or no, no, no. You've got to start doing something with that. And with that, you go to bit.ly/free women 2020. Start doing something now. You could start your business. You have the resources, you have the network, you have people here that are going to support you, encourage you, motivate you. Let's go. Let's get it done.
You know what? I don't have a movie. I don't have a song, but you guys go with me here because I can just imagine when the news broke out. Some families were like what Steve Harvey said on Kings of Comedy, rolling up this stuff like Cool in the Gang. As soon as they said we was free, man, come on, we out of here. We going up north. I'm gone. We ain't thinking twice about it. You coming? You coming? You coming? Let's go. And then there were some that may have said, you know what? I don't know where to go. I don't know where to go. I don't know what we're gonna do. So a lot of them just said, you know what? Can I just stay and work as a wage earner? Because that's what they said. You know, make sure you had to be a wage earner. You couldn't be slothful and
Mm-hmm.
and be a part of the society. And so I can imagine that out of the everybody who was on the master plan, you may have had some families, even though, and that was a whole different time because everybody used to pay attention to the elders. And the elders said we were leaving, even if we didn't, even if I didn't want to go, if I belong to the Johnsons and the elder Johnson said we going up north, we going here, hither, we all going over yonder.
Mhm.
It was no question. And same if they said we gonna stay put, we all gonna stay put. I mean that's a lesson in itself. So I wanted to just say that even during that time, even during this time, there's a lot of freedom. Now we may think of it and hear of it as something evil or something negative or something dark, but even through all of that, there's so much light. What are you gonna do with that light? Madam C.J. Walker started her business in a pandemic, the pandemic of her day. History repeats itself. What are you going to start? Madam C.J. Walker said, "You know what? Because y'all know how our heads been looking during this quarantine." Madam C.J. Walker was quarantined. She said, "Listen, y'all heads looking bad, so I'm gonna go in the lab." And I'm gonna make something up that's gonna have our hair looking fried, dyed, and laid to the side
That's right.
because we need to look decent. We need to look like presentable people. So if Madam C.J. Walker can go and do that, and she's the first black woman billionaire, what more could you do in this information society, in this for fully educated 2 and 3 degrees? We have the ability and the wherewithal and the wealth of knowledge and the Googles and this information overload. What more could you do? Because she became a billionaire during the pandemic of her day with zero social media, zero. So she just had an idea and she had grind. I'm sure you had,
Mhm.
and she saw the need. Everybody was Everybody heads was looking bad. She was like, yes, listen, put some of this in your head and thank me in the morning. And
Mhm.
run me them 5 cents while you can get some more for next time. So that it sounds. I get so excited about that because when I learned that it was a pandemic of her day and when she launched, I'm like, okay, well, CJ, what you waiting on?
Right.
This is all new, but what are you waiting on? May I ask you the same question. What are you waiting on? Start yourself a business.
They're waiting on Godot. Godot. T. Maria, we going to move to the next point? All right. So we're talking about 5 ways to celebrate Juneteenth, and we're also highlighting Free Women 2020, guys. So it's about freedom, about freeing yourself and finding ways to just, recognize our history as well as use it to propel us for the future. So the third way to celebrate Juneteenth is getting your money together, counting those duckies, figuring out where they are, because there's money in the land, y'all. And really, what it boils down to, and I'm gonna let the coach talk about this to you guys in a minute. There's money everywhere around you. You just got to learn how to recognize it. You got to train your eye. You got to train your ear. You got to train your mind around what money is and how it flows to you, and how you can start to recognize it. We do a heck here. Let's talk about a church. Some of us who are familiar with church. It can be a church that is a member of maybe 3 or 4 people and they have to raise some money. What are some things they're going to do to raise that money? What are some things they're going to do? They're going to have fundraisers at the bars. I'm telling you, the first thing is they're going to have a fish and spaghetti dinner sale, right? Or they're going to have a bake sale, baked goods, or they're going to have a garage sale at the church corner. So everybody, the three Church members are going to bring all their stuff in it, and have a garage sale and raise some money for the church. They're going to they're going to start seeing money coming out in all kinds of different ways. It's the same at your house. I could almost guarantee you could walk around your house. You holding on to some stuff that you probably shouldn't be. I'm looking around my room right now, and I can see some stuff that I probably need to let go and let it be somebody else's best friend. You can generate money all kinds of ways. From that to babysitting to walking dogs. I mean, come on, you'll just start seeing money. And if you're hungry enough, you're going to do whatever it takes to get that money right. You're going to do whatever it takes to start seeing money coming into your household. You're not going to be like, oh, I'm not going to do that. Now, if you have that spirit of you too good to do something, then you're going to have difficulties in recognizing the abundance in the land. I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to be honest. If you're really about that grind, you got to understand there's levels to this. You're going to have to start somewhere. So you're going to have to put that ego aside, and you're just going to have to think about, how's my freedom going to come? What form is this looking like? Am I going to get closer if I do this? If I sell this and I put this back into my business? Because we just said you're going to start a business. So you got to figure out where that money source is going to come from. Are you going to be able to recognize it? Are you going to be able to go get it? Are you going to be able to do the things to make it happen for you?
So, for the person who's like, what do I need to start a business for? How about we give your money an assignment? When was the last time you went on a real vacation? Not a staycation. I got the time off, but since I don't have the money, I can't really travel anywhere. Now I know we're on limited travel capacity right now. I get it. But after this is over, I don't know about you. I'm planning on going some places. Okay. This 2020 was my year to travel, according to my schedule. But it's all good because I understand doing things in its proper time and place. I get it. So, what about you? Do you have the money to travel? Do you really have an emergency fund set up? Did COVID-19 catch you off guard to the point to where you didn't know how you were going to eat? You didn't know how you was going to find some toilet paper or some hand sanitizer or whatever the case. Did you have money to pay your rent? Was that an issue, or were you on pins and needles about whether or not you're going to be put out? Or you just didn't know because something happened with your job? Give your money an assignment. Do your children want to go to college? Now, I might get in trouble for saying this. And I mean no offense to nobody. But hear my heart. If God gave you the privilege, the gift of children, because the Bible says that children are a gift. If God gave you that gift, why wouldn't you want to put them in a position to be all that they could be? So I do get it. You know, our family, you might have multiple children. So maybe you can't set aside $25,000, $30,000 for each child. But I do believe that you can set up something. I know a lot of states have funds where you can put the money up, and then when they reach age, they can go to college. But a lot of times we're living so check to check that that's not even a consideration. So we start our children off up under. Just a suggestion. Give your money that assignment to help your children have a better life. Maybe it's not to send them to college. Maybe it's to buy them a piece of property. Give them somewhere to live so they don't have to try to figure out about living rent month to month and trying to just give them an advantage. Maybe it's buying them their first vehicle. It don't have to be brand spanking new. It don't have to be a Mercedes or a Jaguar, but something dependable. Especially, hello, can I say? I know it's about to be Father's Day, and y'all know my skin be crawling around this time because I hate the rants. But especially if you have girls, fathers, you need to get your business straight. And it's not to say that you don't do it for the boys, because you should. But especially if you have a girl, you leave your girl unprotected. You have to leave her to her own devices to figure out how she gonna set her life up, really. And then you mad at the choices that she made. Well, what other choice did she have? Give your money an assignment. Please and thank you.
I know this is so passionate of mine. Yeah, I'm not going to take too long because I can teach a whole mastermind on this. Not only should you, I am the person who tell you, let me just start over. I am the person that tells you you have money for whatever you want to have money for. That's tight, but it is so right. How bad do you want it? If money is an issue for you, and I am telling you, I'm not telling you about no college level. I'm talking about what I have lived through losing things, right? Through natural disasters, having to start over. You absolutely, you can make it. You can make it with a little of nothing. So what I'm saying is, you want to get the money right. What I'm saying is, there is a gift, and that's what we talk about in one of the certifications with the money mindset. You got to have a money mindset. So we're in this quarantine, like he said, people didn't know how to find tissue or sanitizer, what have you. They didn't know how to order groceries. They didn't know how to go make groceries properly. Yes, I said make groceries. I'm from New Orleans. That's what we do. So what they were doing was ordering from restaurants and going get things that don't stretch. If y'all know what I'm talking about. There are ways you can get your money right even right now. You buy the meals that can stretch. You buy the rice and gravies, potatoes and gravies for y'all Midwest and East Coast folks. You buy what can stretch. It is I have I went live one time and I was showing how all the meals you can make $5 and under and feed your whole family, not by takeout. You have to buy these things at the store. And so that's just one way. If you do want to send your kids to school or have money for a new business, you are going to have to make some choices. And maybe Netflix may not be the thing that you need right now, right? If you have a $9.99 subscription, that's $10 right there times 12. Do the math. That's $120. We only need 400 for an emergency. So let's just think about that. You have to start somewhere. A lot of us, we're not going out anymore. We're not going out to eat or whatever. What are you doing with that extra disposable income? Are you putting it aside or are you shopping or doing something else? So I am the person that I will show you some money. Listen, we I have a gift of finding money. It's just that, are you willing to do what's necessary to find this money? Now, I'm not gonna fight you, that's your money. But if you have a goal in mind, I can show you that, and that's so important. you want to get your money right. I don't really, it doesn't sit well with me when someone says they don't have the money to do XYZ. Same with this certification. There is a price point, but it's not spending, it's investing. Because you have to look at your money in a different mindset. The investment that you're making, you can get that money back. You're going to get a return on your investment because this is such a great certification. You'll be able to write that money off on your tax. It's a business expense. So, guys, those are just a little bit of the little nuggets where help you get your money right. If you whatever the investment is, I promise you, if you just like Stephanie said, look around your room and see what you can get rid of, see what you can sell, see what you can offer up, see what you can what is it have a garage sale, whatever, or see what you can cut off, see what you can downsize on. It's just how bad do you want it. And I know I never thought I could be without a television, but I honestly can say I don't watch TV. I have other goals in mind. Now, if you watch TV, no judgment. I'm just saying. I know that the cable bill that I used to spend, which was almost $300, that is $3,600 a year. I can now take that $3,600 a year and allocate it to something else. That's the way you have to look at things. So we want you to get your money right. We want you to get your money right. This program, this certification, bit.ly/free woman 2020, absolutely going to help you get your money right.
Absolutely. bit.ly/free women 2020. So that's your woman to get your money together. And even as she was talking, I was like, yeah, I need to schedule an appointment with CJ. We need to talk about some other stuff. That is my accountant. I'm excited about that. So if you haven't shared the broadcast, please share the broadcast, whether you're watching live or watching the replay. We really do appreciate you doing that. And so hello to those that have joined us in the last couple minutes or half hour or so. We appreciate you being here. We are here Monday through Friday. We are the Midnight After Dark crew. We're excited to be here, and we're tonight talking about 5 ways that you can celebrate Juneteenth today and every day moving forward. So number 4, you can empower others. And that's, from the perspective of having a positive attitude and a sense of what community really used to be about. CJ mentioned if the elder said we going, then we going. That just is the bottom line. But a lot of people don't have that same sense of respect for authority, and it really is unfortunate. Um, it's so much disrespect out here by so many people. I'm still certain things I'm not gonna say to my mama. Now I might
Mhm.
say, but I'm not gonna say them to her. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a disrespectful person at all. But I'm just saying it's just unheard of. I've seen and witnessed some of these young folks saying stuff. I was like, if I thought it too loud, I would get
Mhm.
knocked into next week. Okay. That's how I grew up. And I know some of y'all like, oh my God, you don't beat your children. Well, the Bible says you spoil the child, you spare the rod, you spoil the child, and they're gonna get correction. They may as well get correction at home and not out in the streets, because as you're seeing, correction out in the street don't look good. So you've got to teach them a sense of honor and respect somewhere. Why not teach it at home? So we're empowering others through our whether look, you got to start at home. Don't be trying to save the neighborhood and change the neighborhood and you ain't even started at home. Your household tore from the floor up, but
Woo.
you trying to save the country. The word that don't make sense. It doesn't
Mhm.
make sense. So you forgot to get the right perspective about that. And we can empower others through our action, through our conversations. Believe me, if I read a good book, I'm gonna share it with the ladies. In this community, our coach is huge on reading. She just gave us like 3 or 4 books to read. I'm like, Lord. But I mean, it's essential. Leaders are readers, so you've got to make time and priority. Like CJ said, I can probably count the number of times that I turned on the TV in June alone because I have so much other stuff. I really part of me is like I don't even need cable because I don't watch it. I need the internet, but I don't necessarily need cable because when I do turn on the TV, I'm turning on what Law and Order or the Hallmark Channel, something. I ain't turning on non-reality TV. But my point is, what we do, what we ingest, what we take in, we share with others. So it starts with you. And when you change the conversation that you're having with people, you will find that the people involved in the conversation may change. And sometimes that's what you need. It's not to say you don't love anybody, you putting somebody down. Don't take me for saying that. I'm not. But sometimes if you've got to go, if you want to do something different, if you have a mission, you have to be having different conversations with different people. And that requires you getting out of your comfort zone. Yeah, I know it can be a scary thing. I think of when I first joined the community, and of course I'm an extroverted introvert. I say I'm shy. My friends wouldn't say that of me. So maybe I used to be shy, but I mean, still, there are just conversations with different people that I'm like, what do I have to say? I just want to listen and glean, and that's okay too. But get the information and then begin to share it with others so that we can empower the community. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. Some stuff I'm never going to be involved with. Some stuff you never going to find me doing, but I can do what I do the way I do it as only I can in the way that's suitable for Tisha Marie. And it's okay because it's still empowerment. You know, the point is that we empower one another in your way. That's why we've all been given different gifts.
Yeah, empowering others is important, especially right now. Especially right now. But let me say this: empowerment doesn't come in a form of opinion, and I see that all too far. Too often, all too far often. Am I saying that right? It's late night, early morning, y'all. I'm mixing words. Who knows? But it happens so much that people impose their opinion on others. I'm just looking at we all are in the same boat. However, I'm a little different when it comes to watching TV. I don't. It watches me. I do like background noise, so I turn it on. I couldn't tell you what's happening or who's doing what or who said what. And I don't watch the news. I'm gonna just put that out there. Usually I hear about it from somebody else and then I go research what happened. But there looking at social media and just any kind of conversations between people and we just arguing back and forth, and I was raised very traditional, old school. And my mom would always say, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say it. And there have been so many times like I'm reading stuff and I want to jump in because I'm like, oh, they're misinformed. But like, I'm like, no, because then that means I can impose my opinion. Sometimes we get out of facts. It's one thing to state a fact or something, give a historical account and tell some truths. But it's another thing when you start putting your opinion on somebody. And why am I bringing that up? Because it's so important when you're trying to move in a different way, when you're trying to free yourself and in the empowerment of others. Sometimes we start putting our opinions on them. And what can show up is they may start thinking they're not good enough, they're not worthy enough, and that this is maybe not for them. They start questioning themselves about the wanting to do something for better for them. People start becoming introverts or not willing to share their thoughts or their feelings about being different, about seeing life differently. And so we have to be cognizant of how we do empower each other, and is it in a positive manner? Are we Do we have some skin in the game? Is there any reason why we would be saying or doing anything? And usually empowerment comes in the form of you just want somebody to succeed, you just want somebody to be successful, you just want to motivate somebody. On here just asked, said they want to be inspired. That's what empowerment comes into play. You just want to inspire someone, and the best way to do it is by living your best life. That's the best way to empower someone else, is to show them. I can show you better than I can tell you. Let me see you move. Let me see how you moving. Let me just watch. Let me tell you, I am an observer. I will, y'all. I just saw something. I think my oldest brother, snuck off to Vegas, and I'm gonna chew him out when I talk to him. But anyway, he's showing the fountains, in front of the Bellagio. So uh I'm a people watcher, y'all. I can do that all day and be so super entertained. I don't have to go pay money to go to nowhere when I go to Vegas. I sit. That's why I was like, I'm at the chewing out, because I love the waterfront in front of the Bellagio. I could sit there for hours at that fountain. Why? Yes, the water show is beautiful, but it comes every hour on hour, right? So that'll get boring after a minute. It's the entertainment from the people who comes by, what they're doing. You see them being slick over here on the side. You like, whoa, what's going on over there? You see all kinds of things if you sometimes be quiet. Sometimes that's that humble piece. Sometimes you got to eat some humble pie. Just be quiet and observe. Watch what people do, how they're moving, how they're interacting with other people. You can learn strategy by just simply observing. You could have a whole lot of takeaways by observing and watching, and you can be empowered by that. But I'm telling you, I can show you better than I can tell you. And I believe in Christ-like activity, and he did that a lot. He showed the people more so than he told them. And I'm gonna drop the mic.
That's good. Taught them how to fish. That's like the kids today with the protesting. Like Stephanie said, if you empower and not impose your opinion, and you come from a place of love, um, I believe it'd be a lot more receptive, because again, the elders do have the wisdom, right? And so when you go and telling them or speaking down to them like you never been a kid, like you never marched, like you never did anything radical before. I remember my grandmother. We were looking through my grandmother's um, pictures, and one of the ladies in the church who used to get us told everything, anything we wanted to do. Oh, I just never. Oh, I just never. Oh, that dress is too short and it's at your calf. I just never. And so we were looking at pictures, my grandmother when they were younger, and I was like, my grandmother said, "Oh, that's such a so." I was like, "Wait a minute, what? That's such a so in the club with the drink and a cigarette in her hand? Not her, not the same one." who condemn us to hell if we do anything. And I remember saying, I should be like, I saw those pictures when y'all was in that club back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I say all that to say, if you empower others, that they will be more receptive. I'm not, yes, you want to empower and have that sense of community. I totally grew up in a sense of community. Before I made it to the house, my mama didn't heard about any and everything that I did. And I was like, what in the world? You don't have no business of their own? Like, how you going I didn't even do anything. Don't matter. You was with them. All right. So we all get in trouble. I can tell y'all another story. My best friend, her grandmother, taught us, we fell asleep at these boys' house. And she called and said, I'm coming to get you. And I'm going to whoop you. And she said, and you too, Quanda. I'm like, you're not my grandmother. You're not my grandmother. But I didn't say that. Yes, ma'am. We all caught a whooping falling asleep at the boys' house. Yeah, we still laugh at that. But it was different. It was different, and it always came out of a place of love. Even then, God rest her soul, she just talked to us and told us about how and what it is to be a lady,
Mm-hmm.
and how there's certain things women should not do, and how we should treat ourselves. Now, yes, y'all fell asleep, but you shouldn't have been over there. What you doing over that man house anyway?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you have the man come to you? He's courting you. Well, you know what, miss? And now I'm older. I'm like, you know what? You saying something there.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the types of lessons that if we have more of that, and then of course, young people, we have to be more receptive. I remember, I mean, yes, we smacked our teeth, rolled our eyes, but we ain't none of them heard that because they all would have bet us clean in our mouth. And then told them, I'm gonna tell your mom, I bet it in your mouth. She was being disrespectful. I'm just telling you.
And
So
then you
none
get
of
it again at home. So yeah.
Mm.
yes, yes. Please and thank you. Please don't tell my mom. And are you being sassy? No, ma'am. This is no, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. So yeah, I think it is a level of respect. My last this girl was talking, and Maya Angelou, she was interviewing Maya Angelou, and I don't know you guys may have seen this. And she said, she was a young girl, maybe 21, and she said, Maya, how do you feel? And Maya Angelou, she looked, she said, excuse me? She said, young lady, I'm old enough to be your grandmother. You are going to address me as Miss Angelou, Miss Maya, something. I'm not your equal. And
Mm-hmm.
so people would sit there and be like, man, she was being harsh. No, no, ma'am,
Mm.
no, sir. That is a level of respect. I still say, please, sir, thank you, ma'am. No, ma'am. I don't know no other way. And so when I heard her say that, I'm like, woman, I feel so comfortable. And this Maya Angelou, of all people, girl, Lord, that's how I couldn't talk. But she says, oh, Maya, what do you feel? She was like, babe, excuse me? And she got her told real quick in love. So we all have a part to play with empowering others because maybe she needed to hear that. Maybe she don't know. Maybe she don't know. But I bet she got it together. So we all have a part to play in empowering and each other in this community because Lord knows we so need it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hey y'all, we talking about freeing yourself during this. We're kind of wrapping up Juneteenth, but Juneteenth can be every day as a reminder to you to free yourself in some form. And we're talking about 5 ways to continue to celebrate, right? And we've talked about educating yourself and your family. We talked about possibly starting a business as our number 2 point. Number 3 is get your money right. Oh, get your money right, y'all. I guess to me, number 3 should be number 1. You get your money right, and the rest will follow, right? You can get that 1 point together in your life, you'll be so much better for it. And then number 4, we just talked about empowering others and a sense of community. Um, just helping one another out and motivating, inspiring, and being that light for others to be guided by. So that brings us to number 5. Before we go to number 5, though, y'all, we need to talk about you going to bit.ly/free women 2020. Again, one of the ways to free yourself, one of the ways to celebrate Juneteenth and what that meant as far as freedom and true emancipation for folk, at least in Texas at the time. But we just honor the fact that some of our enslaved people were enslaved longer than others, but finally by 1865 everyone had been freed. So that's why we celebrate Juneteenth. So what are you doing? What are you doing to free yourself? What are you doing to celebrate? What are you doing to commemorate? What are you doing to honor your history? You need to be freeing yourself. This is a now time. This is a right now. This is due season. This is like go. It's time, time, time. The light is on you. Spotlight is on you. What decision are you going to make? Come to bit.ly/free women 2020. Come find out how you can be a grant recipient. Then also find out how you can become a coach. Not just a coach, a certified coach. We are offering 12 areas for you to become a certified coach in, and you're just going to come. We had our meeting tonight. Those of you who missed it, you missed it, guys, but you get another opportunity next week. We're also having meet and greet next week. So you want to get in now. Matter of fact, this weekend we're doing nothing but interviews. We're following up with all the people that signed up, and we're doing interviews on the spot because there is a process. It's just like signing up for college. There's certain things that you have to have in place, right? So there we have our own system and our own process. You do have to apply. So the link I'm giving you now is just to give you information so that you can be informed, but then you do have to go apply. Then you apply, then you have to interview, and then we tell you yay or nay whether you're welcomed in or whether you qualify for a grant or not. And then you get to choose what area you want to focus on, and then you get connected with the coach that's going to be over that area. So there is a process for it. Okay, we want you to take advantage of it, but we want you to take it now. We are ramping up this weekend just for you, to help you make this process easier for you. So there's not time lagging because we want to see you next week. We want to see you at the meet and greet, and we want to prime you so that you're set up for success come the following week, first day of class, right? And so go to bit.ly/free women 2020. So now the 5th point is about creating a legacy. And we've talked about this in various forms throughout, the time that we've been spending here late nights, early mornings with you guys. So, it can come in various forms. Creating a legacy can it doesn't have to come in a form of money. It's almost like, what do you want people to remember you by? But at the end of the day, if you really study the word and you understand abundance and how it flows, you are supposed to leave something for generations, for your children's children and your children's children's children. You're supposed to leave something, but what is it that you are leaving for them? What is it that you have built? What is your empire? Yeah, I talk about empire all the time. I was so inspired. We want to talk about being inspired. I was so inspired by Empire. I didn't care for some of the storyline just because the thuggish, ruggish stuff, just like that is overrated for me. And it's probably because I've lived it. You know what I mean? When you've grown up in the hood and you've seen it real life, and then they glorify it in some form. It does something to me, so I can't watch it. And then doing the work, my background was still in the hood. I went back to the hood because that's where I was, and somebody came up and gave me a hand up, right? And so I did a lot of work with people, and a lot of my babies would die on a daily basis. And so just, them highlighting that in TV, in movies, just it bothers me. I didn't like that, but I like the strategic concept of how a family took their talent, took their knowledge, and they built something from it. And they kept it in the family. They didn't let it out, even though they had a ruthless board and they had people doing some conniving stuff on their board. They were able to still maneuver it such that they kept it in the family. They were able to, didn't even the board didn't even tell them what to do. And some boards, it depends on your business and how you have it structured. Some boards have more reign and more direction over your company than you might have. So be careful. Make sure you do have some sound advice. You might want to check CJ out when it comes to that, when you're ready to structure your company and how you want to set it up, because you can get that all the way wrong if you don't have the right advice. With that said, though, they had it so much, even though they were conniving too on their end. I have to get Cookie was like not about the right on some things, but they were able to keep it in the family and give the direction. No one told them who, no one told them when. They decided. It was when they decided, when they made the decisions on how they were going to conduct music and who they were going to bring in as the new next artist and how they were going to launch that artist and so forth. They made all of that. They were creating a legacy. Cookie and what's his name? What's the guy? What's the daddy's name? Lion, Big Lion.
Lucius.
Lucius. I don't know why I couldn't remember that name. Uh, so Lucius and Cookie were the ones that were making the decisions now as the headship, right? But at some point, they know we've got to leave this for our kids. And then the baby boy had the baby, right? So we know we've got to continue to plan and continue to grow. And they started, if you watch Empire from the beginning to even now, they started spreading the music industry and started getting into other genres. They started pulling other people into the industry and up into their empire. So let those things not only inspire you, empower you, but it allows you to give you some kind of strategy of creating your legacy and what that could look like. We get examples in front of us all the time, but sometimes if you're not looking for it, you don't really recognize it. But that strategy in and of itself, even though it's entertaining to watch, they're really giving you strategy on how to set yourself up to create a legacy for you and your family and your children's children and your children's children's children. We can talk about reciprocity as it relates to Juneteenth. We can keep talking about, I didn't get my 5 acres and a mule at emancipation. We could keep talking about it. But guess what? The reality of it is it didn't happen. It hadn't happened. And it's not going to probably ever happen. So let's not talk about it anymore. Let's not dwell on it. What are we going to do from that point? Now that you know that, now that you got that out of your system, now that you were able to say it, now what? What are you going to do? How are you going to create it yourself? And I'm not going to say it's going to be easy peasy. It's not. Anything that's worth having, you got to work for in order to appreciate it. So we're gonna help you though. In this due season, there's supports, there are resources, there's community, there's family, there are like-minded folk and individuals. We're here, we're ready, we're willing to take you in, guide you. There's wisdom. There's something to be said about sitting around wisdom and keeping your mouth closed. I talked about that earlier. Sometimes just observing and being quiet, you will learn more than you've expected. CJ?
You know what? Not only will you learn more, it will be something that you can take for the rest of your life and down the line. Back to the example with Madam C.J. Walker. I mean, that was what, over 100 years ago, maybe close to two, and her family is still eating off of that.
Yeah.
So that is just an example. I mean, think about that. The 5 cent pressing cone. they are still eating off of that today. Her billionaire status back then. So I mean, it is that is just wonderful. That's just wonderful. And like Stephanie said, it doesn't have to be money. It could definitely be strategies. It could be definitely be learning how to handle your empire for sure. That's legacy. You want your what your kids to say, man, Mama CJ hooked us up.
Mhm.
Man. And normally they probably have a picture on the wall right next to the picture they have of Jesus, right? But we honor you. That's what I'm talking about. And be like, yes, baby, that's all I wanted. And you just keep it in the same, do the same for those. Yeah, and also doing your paperwork right also creates the legacy because regardless if they want go off on the plug or not, there are things you can put in place paperwork wise so you can make sure that legacy stay in your family.
Mhm.
Hmm.
That's right.
For your freedom.
Mm. Nothing like being free. T, are we gonna go out with some music? You gonna close us out? How we doing it? How we going out tonight or this morning, guys? Again,
Wayne,
thank
I'm
you for
listening to you.
joining. Yeah, I'm gonna let you get us going on the ones and twos. Uh, but thank you guys for joining us. It has been quite a pleasure to talk to you guys about Juneteenth and about your freedom and about how you're going to go about it, move about it, guys, and be about it, right? Um, and I get so excited when we talk about legacy because I'm gonna tell you this is so small, but it's huge. So my children have been around me, they mommy. I've always my family, they're a whole bunch of entrepreneurs. It's in our blood, it's in our DNA. My grandfather had 13 kids, he never worked a job. How the heck do you take care of 13 kids? And he had his own land and he had his house and he built a church, a beautiful church by hand. So he was an electrician by trade. He self-taught. All this is self-taught. He knew how to build homes. He just knew how to do that. And he taught the boys and the family how to do those things too. But also he taught them how to play music. Every last one of them, they all know how to play an instrument. Every last one of the 13 kids, every last one of them had an instrument that they knew how to play and extremely well. Okay. Those are things about leaving legacy. Okay. Sometimes, again, it doesn't have to come in the form of money. Well, my kids, I'm watching them, right? They're seeing their mom be an entrepreneur. So I listen to their conversation and I see them picking up things. And I'll give you an example. My 7-year old inspires me all the time. She's our trip advisor. That's what I call her. She'll see something on TV or she'll read something and she'll always say, "Oh, mommy, this is where we're going to go next." And I'm telling you, when you're talking about give your money assignment, T talked about that today. That's exactly what we do. And we start pinning it on a map saying, we're going to visit this place. We're going to go there. But in creating a legacy, I see my children, I see the hints of entrepreneurship being left in them and they wanting to be free and them wanting to call the shots and not have to go into a 9 to 5 and someone dictate their schedule and their life and how they move and how they act and when to go and where to go and how to go. So guys, it's time for you to start creating your own legacy, and that begins with you working on your freedom. So go to bit.ly/free women 2020. And my co-host left me all alone, guys. But guess what? It's all good. It's all good because we're gonna really close out with a bang. I just have a feeling they're working on something. Somebody's heading out, but thank
I
you
was
for
right here.
joining us. Who was that?
I was right here hearing it. I know I wanted to say
Who
you
was that heading out? John, have fun. Be safe. All right. COVID is real still, y'all. People are out there. I know it's warm, it's summertime, and we want to get out and hang out, but just be safe, please. Thank you.
I wanted to tell you, I said, you say you want your 5 acres. I want the 40 acres in the mute. You say you
Did
say
I
I
say
want
5 acres? I
you
was just talking.
5. No,
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, it's 40. It's
no,
a whole 40. It's a whole 40. Yeah.
I want 40, a whole field 40 in the mute.
You're absolutely right. I was talking fast. I apologize.
Yeah, fine. I'm messing with you.
Okay, I see our sister bopping, but I can't hear her.
Me either.
All right, y'all. We are going out with a bang. Again, share the broadcast if you have not already done so. And listen, we'll see you. But don't forget, you need to go to bit.ly/free women 2020 interviews this weekend. We're getting you started. You want to make sure you don't miss class Wednesday. Do not miss class this Wednesday. So you got to get the process going, and we're going to be here to help you. So with that, have a great and awesome weekend, and we'll see you soon. Y'all know it's instrumental.
It's ladies' night, right? All right, y'all.
It's free women, but listen, fellas, you can apply. All right, y'all. We're going to see you later.
Yeah.